Okay, so I've been on my conscious life creation journey for 8 years now. I started my journey in 2017, and actually, before I consciously started my journey, my soul was already doing its working. So I took a trip to Thailand in the May 2017 for my mental health. I'd been dealing with a really toxic relationship. And in Thailand, I ended up getting an unalone tattoo on the back of my ear. And essentially, if you don't know what an unalone tattoo is, the essence of it is a spiral when you're spiraling round. And then when you start to get to enlightenment, it goes up and then kind of zigzags and then goes up again. And the essence of this tattoo in the spiraling sense is we learn the lessons, and the lessons keep repeating until they actually sink in and we integrate and we embody the lessons, so we don't have to keep learning them again, right? And I saw something the other day which really beautifully reframed this, because I used to just say, oh, it's just tests and lessons from the universe. And I saw something the other day that reframed it to, no, it's actually the universe trusting you. It's giving you trust. Being like, oh, have you really embodied what you said that you would? And seeing if it can trust you in that sense. And that's why we get presented with these quote unquote tests and lessons to see if we can be trusted in this new frequency that we're moving towards, right? Because this is the reason that we're doing this work, right? So as we're moving through this as we're moving through this journey, journaling's really good, by the way. If you don't already journal, do journal, because it gives yourself time and space to just be with yourself, no distractions, get rid of all of the distractions and just be with you, right? And I noticed half my head is out of this shot, but I really want to get my cute little kitty in because she's just so cute. So yeah, journaling's great because if it gives you time and space to really sit with yourself and be with your thoughts and your being. And as you're writing and journaling, me personally, as I'm writing and journaling, I get messages coming from my soul and my higher self, and I do my best to tune out of my mind and tune into my body and the guidance that's coming in there. And that's when the gold comes in, because we're connecting to our soul, our higher self, our subconscious, however it is that you want to look at it, right? So journaling's great. I'm glad I made that mistake in my speech, because it's such a great point to focus on. Now getting back to the spiral strategy, yeah? And linking back to this tattoo and life as a whole, is we're going around and around until we learn the lessons, so we don't have to keep learning it, right? And the whole point of this spiral is, as we're going around, instead of looking at it as a flat spiral, we want to look at it as a spiral that's going up, right? Because as we're going up and as we are learning these lessons, as we are integrating and as we are embodying, essentially what we're doing is we're looking down at these experiences, these situations, from an elevated perspective, because of the parts of integration that we've done previously in respects to the previous situations, right? So as we're moving forward, it's really important to remember that we're not ever going to be perfect. And so many people, myself included, we want to have all of the answers, we want to be really clued up, we want it to look perfect, and we want to have the right shot, the right lighting. I mean, even today, before I started filming, I had this thing in me about lighting, and then I was like, you know what, I'm sitting here chilling with my fur babies. My dog's moved, she's over there now. I'm sitting here chilling with my fur babies, I'm just chilling. Why not just film, right? This is what makes it authentic. It's like you're here in my living area with me, having a chat with me, right? It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be real. And this is what people are looking for these days and wanting these days. They're not looking for perfect, because nothing's perfect. And how can people connect to you if it's perfect? They can't, right? And we want to be moving through the integration of it all, and we want to be open with where we're at, not perfect and trying to make out to be something that we're not, because that just doesn't make sense. How are we going to be able to attract our soul tribe into our life when it comes to putting on a mask, yeah, and trying to be something that we're not? So through this process, and I'm speaking about consciously creating your life, right? And I'm linking back to my journey when it's come to consciously creating my life, and I've used social media for that. And a huge part of this process has been really sharing where I'm at, and sharing the process, and sharing the journey, and sharing where I've come from, and different parts along the way, sharing what I've learned. And we don't need to know everything to be able to teach. We just need to know a little bit more than the people that we're teaching to be able to teach. And the way that we're really able to integrate and embody and also find our own messaging and find our own voice is if we actually teach off of the back of learning through whoever, whether you're learning from me now and then you're going to teach this to someone else, or whether you're learning it from a book and then teaching it to someone else through a piece of content, right? So sharing the process is what builds trust with our people, and is what really creates that connection with our people. Because yeah, it's not easy. Really consciously creating our life is not easy. Going after our dreams is not easy. Building a business is not easy. And when we're sharing these back end parts of it, like, I'm really fucking nervous to get on camera. You know, I was never like this. As you watch me now, I wasn't always this comfortable on camera. I needed to have notes all around. And don't get me wrong, I've got some notes here that I'm looking at for pointers so I don't veer off track, because I tend to do that. However, before I would have so many notes because I'd be so nervous, and I would continue to touch my face, and when I would smile I would cover my mouth because I was so self-conscious about my smile. And I would say and ah and have these word fillers because I wasn't comfortable in the silence in between of me thinking where I wanted to go, right? And it's only through me practicing and continuing to show up that I've been able to speak in the way that I do now, and show up, whether this be on camera or in person, in the way that I do now. This is all practice. Remember, I've been on my journey for 8 years. I started in July 2017, right? So it's really important to only compare yourself to you 6 months ago, a year ago. Never compare yourself to anyone else, because you don't know where they started. You don't know their journey. You don't know their internal environment. You just know what you see, and typically you're making up stories off of the back of what you see. You don't really know everything about them, right? The only person you know everything about is you. So the best person that you can compare yourself to is you. So if you're gonna take anything from this video, just take that from today, yeah? So showing your process really allows you to build brand trust and also magnetism as well, because this is where you're real with your people. This is where you're authentic with your people. And this is what really draws people to you, is your authentic expression. Perfection is a myth. It's not real. You're nature. You're a part of nature. If you have a look at nature and you zoom out, nature is really beautiful and it looks perfect. However, if you zoom in, there are various different defects, should we say, or flaws, however you want to say it. You zoom in, there's destruction, there's broken leaves, there's caterpillars that have eaten the leaves, there's fallen trees, there's dead plants, you know, there's so much imperfection in the perfection. So it's really remembering that you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are nature and nature is you, and you're never going to be perfect. So don't let that stop you from moving forward and sharing your process and where you're at and what you're doing. And it's okay to show up and say, you know what, I don't know everything, I'm still learning. You know what, I am nervous showing up, I'm sweating, and I'm new to this, and that's okay. In fact, that's actually really inspirational for people that haven't yet started. And this is what's going to enable you to hopefully spark the fire in someone so they get moving forward in their own way towards their dreams, because this is how we support our soul tribe in rising, by sharing where we're at authentically in the moment. So showing your process through this spiral journey is not only going to be beneficial for this brand trust and brand magnetism, it's also going to be beneficial for your own integration and growth and healing through that process, because you're going to be able to reflect upon the back of these shares as to how far you've come, where you're going, what it is that you desire to refine in the future, and to move in a very intentional way in that sense. So remembering that as you're moving forward, when you notice through this spiral that you're going through, these different levels of trust that you are being presented with, to see if you're shifting your frequency and embodying what's required to be embodied for you to step into this next level version of self and life. As you're moving through, you're going to notice that some things don't work, right? Or things that used to work no longer work. So instead of naturally, that's not even natural, instead of it's not even instinctual, I can't think of the word, instead of labeling it as a failure straight away, yeah, which sometimes that's natural for people because they're in that negative mindset and there's a need to reprogram in that sense. And if you find that that's you, then I highly encourage you to start reprogramming your subconscious, because you really want to be moving towards a growth mindset and a mindset that's rooted in wealth consciousness, right? And automatically looking at quote unquote failures as ways to refine, right? And this is what you want to be focusing on, is it's not a failure because you're still in it, you're still moving. You only ever fail if you give up on the end goal and the end mission. Other than that, it's simply refinements and getting to know yourself even more. This journey of entrepreneurship and this journey of consciously creating your life is such a deep spiritual journey, in the sense of really getting to know yourself and really getting to know the ways in which work for you, because the ways in which work for you do not work for me, and vice versa. And the same for Sally and John. Everyone does it differently, right? Everyone shows up differently. So it's really working out where you get to refine your way of being and your way of doing on this process of evolution when it comes to creating the life it is that you desire. Whether you are in entrepreneurship or not, it's even the same in a career or in your relationships, because we all approach it differently. We all have different makeups, we all have different stories. So looking at it as refinement rather than failure is very key, and this is really going to support your motivation moving forward, because you're not failing unless you give up. If you're still in the game, then you're still in the game and you're still winning. So keep moving forward in that way. When it comes to sharing content in the pursuit of the life it is that you're creating, in the pursuit of the success it is that you're creating for yourself, you want to be sharing content that reflects your becoming. So it's like I said earlier in showing your process, right? Most of the time we don't feel good enough to show up because we're not there yet and we haven't done this yet and whatever else stupid thing comes up. However, the fact that you're doing it, the fact that you're showing up, the fact that you've made this decision to invest this money, this time, this attention, this energy into yourself and your dreams, that is inspirational as fuck. Right? The fact that you're reading these books, the fact that you're doing this extracurricular to learn all of these skills for you to be able to create what it is that you want, you're way ahead of the majority of the population that are still stuck in the illusion and in the rat race and their own whirlwinds of shit, right? You're choosing to rise up out of that and create your own and design your life. And this is inspirational as fuck. And this is where the magic is. The magic's in the journey. The magic's in the becoming. So sharing content that reflects that becoming, that reflects the hardships that you're going through, that reflects the strength and the resilience it is that you are required to adopt on this journey is really inspirational. And it's also going to beautifully pave the way for your soul tribe who are going to come and join you on the journey and learn from you, because you're not selling them some kind of fantasy. Oh, I've arrived and it's easy and all of it. No, it's not. There's stuff that we have to move through, right? And this is the stuff that I've got to move through, and this is what I've learned from this, and this is how I can support you with this. So just so you know, and this is what again allows people to magnetize to you and to build trust with you, is through you sharing what you're integrating and embodying through this spiral as you're rising up through it all, right? And all of this aligns with frequency work because we're going up, right? We're going up the spiral. So as we're going up, we're raising our frequency, and through this, we're ultimately expanding everything that we're able to hold through the lessons that we're integrating and embodying. And then ultimately, we're expanding our capacity to receive in every which word: love, nourishment, fulfillment, wealth, health, community, friendships, all of the things, all of the things. So this is a huge part of the frequency work, is the integration and the embodiment of what it is that we're required to be, of who it is that we're required to be to get to our next level version of life, of business, of relationships, career, whatever that may be. And you know best with where it is that you are, with where it is that you need to go, and the things it is that you need to do. You know what you need to do. The question is, are you doing it? And if you're not doing it, what's holding you back? Because the only thing that's holding you back is you. So what is it within you that's holding you back from going up this spiral and raising your frequency and ultimately creating a better experience for yourself and more results for yourself? Because it's you, baby. It's all you. It's only you. And everything's happening internally. And the reason that there's such discordance or things that you're not liking externally is because of the discordance within that is not being faced and alchemized and integrated and embodied. And this is the work, right? And this is what we focus on in my membership, the Wealth Frequency Shift. So if you want to join, there's 2 tiers, the link's below. You're so welcome to join. And not only do I give you all of this support and these teachings and this guidance with the frequency work, I also support you in building your own online business that's completely global, that you get to build around yourself and your message and your passions and your purpose and your truth, that's scalable, that's duplicable, that's lucrative, and supports the world in amazing, amazing ways. So you can explore that deeper in also links below. I've created a free portal with even more gold and even more magic that is on top of everything that I share on my social. So yeah, everything's in the description. If you have any questions or if you have anything to say off of the back of what I've shared today, please do comment, like, subscribe, all of the things. I love to engage with my people, with my community. Social media is social, so it's really all about building community. I'm so grateful that you're here and that you've listened, and I do hope to see you soon. Have a beautiful day. Mwah.